Before we start applying our parametric constraints to orthographic views, I want to show you how to update your templates to make the whole process go faster. So what I'm going to do is make boxes for our front, right, and top views that will control the height, width, and depths of your three views. So I'm just going to dive in right now. I'm going to start with a rectangle at the 0, 0. Your templates should have this point here, so you can use that. It should already be locked with the geometric fix constraint. You can check that by selecting it, and it should pop up there. If not, that's GC fix, and then you just click it, and that's locked at 0, 0. So I'm going to rectangle. I currently have infer constraints on, so it should start applying the needed constraints I need for this, because they're just straight lines and endpoints. So rectangle, I'm just gonna sloppily just plop some stuff in here. Track from this edge, starting my right view, so that's my front view. Track from that corner there. I'll make a miter box here. Let's put it there. Tracking. I'll take a line, place it there. This needs to be 45, or basically this edge and this edge need to equal, so GC equal. Click that one, that one. Now let's see if that actually, so that didn't hold, but if I select this corner and that corner and do a auto constraint, just typing in auto, let's see if that actually did what I was hoping it would do. Yep, so those are tied there. I can do the same thing with these corners, and I guess I could have done both of those at the same time, but oh well. Let's see how that works now. So now, yep, my height and my front and right view are matching. Let's drag this guy. That's just moving the position. Let's see if I'm going to do DC linear, and I'm going to lock the distance. I'm going to give myself a control between the distance on that. Although it did not give me a dimension. DC linear. Oh, that's what that is. Okay, interesting. So I was playing around with, I'll just say 0.25 here. Interesting. Okay, so that's the annotational constraint mode. It applies. We'll look into that in the future. I'm going to turn that back off, but let me try this one here real quick too. So DC linear, there to there, 0.25. Okay, so I'm not totally certain what that one is doing, but anyways, I got my distance set between the views. Now when I drag on this, I just want to see if it's moving the miter like I wanted it to, and it is. So now we'll put a rectangle up here, up by there, copy that, and track from those two corners so I can get that. Perfect. Let's do our auto constraint on these guys and these guys. So if that's not clear to what I'm doing with that, I'm just selecting these corners because I want to see if it will automatically apply. There it is. It put collinear on these two lines, meaning they're locked together. And same thing there. So now as I adjust my width on that, my top now adjusts with the same width as my front. The height on my front and right adjust together at the same time, and then the depth on my right and top adjust at the same time. So that's what I'm looking for that. Let's put in some controls here. We need a dimension for our width, a dimension for our height, and I'll also sure 0.5, 0.5, and also top or right, your choice, but DC linear, I need one for my depth. And I will make that 0.5 as well. We have the control between our front and right view there. Let's do the same thing for our top. Click and click. 0.25. And then I would suggest once you get to that point, go into your parameters manager and let's start naming some of this stuff. So D1, come on. That's my, I'm just going to say front to right, so F2R. D2 is my width, and it just popped away. D3 is my height, which I should spell correctly. There we go. If you need to kind of see what they look like, you can drag out the columns there. D4 is my depth, and D5 is my front to top. You want to spell that out completely, that's up to you. I kind of just, I don't need it to save space, I suppose. I kind of abbreviate some of that. So that should do it. Now if we save this down as our template, so save as drawing template and keep it as the same name, save it. Every time you open it up, you'll have basically a quick template for your front, top, and right. You will have instances where left and you'd have to maybe mirror some stuff, or maybe in those instances just start from scratch a little bit, but this should always give you a pretty good starting point. If you wanted to, you really could actually just add in left, back, and bottom to this whole thing, so you have every single view that you potentially could use. But that's your choice. So now that I got this set up, I'm actually going to close this one down because I already had my template set up. I'm going to run through, well, this is the one you'll be working on. It's got two oblique surfaces on it, and we should be able to tie those together. So if I change something like, let's just change height real quick, 1.25, everything stays there. I can change angle on it, and that actually adjusts, we'll say 35. You can see that adjusts the surfaces all correctly. I can maybe change the gap in between. I think that's that one, yep. So let's say 0.625 increases the gap. That also then increase the gap here on the right view. So I'm going to run through this drawing here, that's SP3-2. I'm going to jump into SP3-1 and show you how I would go about this. So I'm going to hit a new one here. Let's see, I don't know if this one's actually metric though. Let me, new metric, open. Okay, so my first step is I'm going to go over to my parameters manager and make my adjustments for the proper size of this guy. He is 200 millimeters deep, 200 millimeters tall, and then the width is 400. I'm probably going to need, when we get into dimensioning after this, that's where you'll probably have to start playing with this more, but I'm going to increase my distance between my views as well. Having that makes that super nice. You can play around with it a little bit, but you don't have to worry about selecting something wrong or screwing something up. It just, you have a control there, change it to what you need it to. Okay, so now it should be kind of the same process that we've been doing, making parts. You can use construction lines, normal lines, kind of whatever your style is at this point. And I'm going to do this kind of a sloppy way. You can put in your dimensions the way they list on the drawing, but because we're applying those geometric and dimensional constraints, I can just basically make the shape that it should approximately be and apply those dimensions later. So I'm going to just do quick and dirty here. Place my lines in for each view up to there. Okay, so I'm glad that actually happened. So that's an instance of the infer constraints being annoying. So I didn't want it to do that, but it wanted to do that, so it did. Let me see if this works. I'm going to go here, 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 and here, and not finish off that last bit there. And I believe, I was hoping there would be a quick way. I don't know if you can type in infer constraints or something. I guess not. Well, let me try that. What that said, constraints infer. Oh, and then I press 1. That's not really that quick. So I would just go down to the bar here and click on it. So with that off, I should be able to put the line in. I'm sorry to ramble a little bit on this, but I'm just curious if there's a way of doing that without it freaking out on me. Yep, so no matter what, well, I don't know, no matter what, but each time I try that, it's just going to be think that I want to do whatever it is doing there. Alright, so with that off, I can do this, and then I'll quick do an auto constrain, and it didn't mess up. Okay, good. Okay, so there's my front view. My right view, it's going to be here, all the way up, all the way over, all the way down. And I'm going to track from here. So in this case, I do want to be not super sloppy because I want to make sure that when I do my auto constraint, it's going to make a collinear constraint between these two lines. So select those two, auto, and that did add that collinear. So those should move together after I'm done with everything. And that came all the way there, so that actually needs a line going across, but it'll be hidden. And we'll do the same thing here. Auto. Add that collinear to it. I'm just going to select this whole thing real quick and put auto to it. And there we go. Okay, so now to get my right view and top view kind of connected, I'm going to use construction lines and points. Those construction lines and points will go on my miter line. I'll get those constrained. So as those kind of adjust, they'll slide along this line and make sure that these two views match up. So set XL. I'll do match properties real quick to make that thing construction. PO for point. Put that there. Auto constrain those guys together so the point is now coincident to both of these lines. And then I don't have one that's horizontal, so XL. Put that guy there. Match properties. And that guy. And for good measure, do auto constrain again. All right, now I can finish up my top view. This point goes up to there and all the way across. Just do this here and here. Close that for a box. I could have just used rectangle, but oh well. This goes all the way across, and then there's this edge here. Do my auto constraints. I'm being overly cautious on some of this probably, but it just ensures that, see, I don't think that one actually applied what I was looking for. As you hover over things and kind of select these, I'll show you what the constraint is doing. And I want to make sure that these two always stay in line with each other, so I'm going to use, see that one I added the collinear. There's no line here, so I'm going to have to use, I can use vertical. So GC vertical, 2 points, so I can right click 2 points. So this point and this point need to always stay in line vertically. Hopefully that did work. Seems like it did. All right, now I will add my dimensional constraints to this guy. I already have height, width, and depth on there, so now I just kind of have to add in the details. Right click object, so I'm going to go line. Right, okay, come on. Oh, sorry, that doesn't work. Oh, so point to point. Come on, there we go. 100. Hopefully that, yep, that moved that top line just the way I wanted it to. DC linear, point to point, and that one's 300, and that also moved the way I wanted it to. And let's go to either my top or right view to do some more here. DC. Oh, I can finish off the stuff on the front view though. This is 50 millimeters. See if that moved the way I wanted it to. And this one is 100. That moved the way I wanted it to. Here to here should be, so it's trying to go to that construction line, so I need to move that guy to the back. Try that again. Point to point. And that one should be 100. And I think that's all of it. Yep. So now I can now that I got it in there, I can test it out a little bit to make sure everything is functioning the way I want it to. So let's change our overall width to, let's say, 500. And okay, so there's a couple issues there. So Control Z, and you can tell where the problems are, that where you don't have those blue dots. So I can select that spot and that spot, some of these edges here, and auto. So that added my coincidence dimensions I needed. So let's try that one more time. 500. Everything seems to be in the right spot. Just looking it over. We'll make this 125 and see how. Okay, so that was not attached to this line. So undo. Select that. Auto. Try that again. 125. Okay, why is that not? Okay, so sometimes auto constrain doesn't want to do what you want it to do, so we'll have to just do it manually. So GC C for collinear, select this line to this line. Now let's try it. 125. There we go. That moved that down on our miter, which then increased the width at the same time on the top view. So that is what we're looking for. Trying to think if there's anything, if say there was a hole in this part here, I've had the best luck once again using your construction lines here to keep things, your hidden lines on the other views in line. So you can put points on these edges, or just getting that selected, do auto on that, and that should put tangent and I believe vertical on that. So those are good to go. Put our lines here. I should turn that infer constraints back on, but this is working okay. Match properties, make these hidden. I didn't really want to do that. Oops. Match. Come on, let me select it. Okay, so now if I adjust the size on this, that should change out the hidden lines, and as I even move it a little bit, it also adjusts with those hidden lines. So I would do the same thing for the right view, put the construction lines, auto constrain it so I get my tangent and vertical on there, put my lines in, get those collinear to it, and it should always match up. The one I'm having you run through has got, like I said, has those oblique surfaces, so make sure to match your points up, and using construction lines, or even having to go through manually and adding the a horizontal constraint between this point and this point so they move together. It shouldn't take too long, but it is a little more complex than the one I just ran through, but not terribly so. So that's the only one I'm going to have you do, is just that one, and then we're going to jump right into going through our dimensioning rules. But at the same time, we'll be doing all this stuff in those exercises.